Hello friends, welcome to the Anatomy Hub. Today we will study about the facial nerve. So the facial nerve, it is very clinically important, and this facial nerve is the nerve associated with the second pharyngeal arch. The specific bones and the muscles that derive from the second pharyngeal arches, mainly the bones, the stapes, styloid process of the temporal bone, lesser cornu of the hyoid bone, and the muscles and ligaments, that is the muscles of facial expression, occipitofrontalis, stylomastoid muscle and ligament, and posterior belly of the digastric and the stapedius muscle. So as you progress through this video, you will find here we will see from the brain stem that how the facial nerve that is connected to the nucleus. So here you will find midbrain, pons and medulla, and here we will see the nucleus of the facial nerve. So first here we will find the branchiomotor nucleus, that is, or you can say the motor nucleus of the facial nerve, and here you will find the abducent nucleus, and after that you will find the here you will find the superior salivatory nucleus. So the superior salivatory nucleus that actually conveys the parasympathetic pathway, and here you will find the lacrimatory nucleus above to that. Then at this point we will find the nucleus of tractus solitarius for the taste sensations, special sensory pathway, and here you will find the spinal nucleus for the touch pain temperature carried by the facial nerve. So as you know that the facial motor nucleus is actually round aggregation of motor neuron cell bodies found in the pontomedullary junction over here, and these are paired on the left and right side of the brainstem and are neatly divided horizontally in half. The superior half of the nucleus representing the superior half of the face, and the inferior half of the nucleus representing the inferior half of the face. The superior half of the face that derives the conscious control from the left and right primary motor cortex. The inferior half that derives conscious control from only the contralateral primary motor cortex. Exiting the nucleus posteriorly, the fibers loop around the dorsal aspect of the abducent nerve on their way towards the ventral surface of the brainstem, as you can see in this picture. As the facial nerve motor fibers are moving through the brainstem, fibers from two important structures join together to run adjacent to the motor root of the facial nerve as a sensory root. So here you will find the somatic sensory fibers from the concha of the auricle. Taste fibers join from the rostral solitary nucleus, and parasympathetic fibers from the superior salivatory nucleus. So here we will draw the lacrimatory fibers coming out of the lacrimatory nucleus, and the superior salivatory fibers, they are also coming like this. Now here you can see in the blue the fibers connected to the tractus solitarius and coming towards the pontomedullary junction is known as the taste fibers. They connected to tractus solitarius, and here you will find the general sensation pathway, general somatic afferent pathway from the spinal nucleus. Then this bundle of fibers is known as your nervus intermedius. So this nervus intermedius, it will approach towards the internal acoustic meatus. So here we will draw the posterior cranial fossa, and here you will find the foramen magnum, through is the lower part of the medulla and the spinal cord that actually exit out from the brain box, and here you'll find the middle cranial fossa, and then you'll find the anterior cranial fossa, right? Okay, then here you'll find a foramen over here. So this is the foramen lacerum. So this foramen lacerum has a nice relation with the facial nerve that we'll see. Then here you'll find the carotid canal that actually opens to the foramen lacerum in this way, and this foramen lacerum also anteriorly connected by a canal is known as the pterygoid canal, that also we'll see, and how the facial nerve is related to that we'll see. Then at this point, inside the petrous part of the temporal bone, you'll find the middle ear bony cavity. So the cube like shaped, here you'll find the roof, you'll find the anterior wall, inferior wall, and the lateral wall and the medial wall, and here you'll find the mastoid process over here, and you'll find the internal acoustic meatus. So through which the nervous intermediates, they will pass towards the inner ear, and they will end up at the antero-superomedial corner of this middle ear cavity. Now here you will find the orbital cavity, and the gland over here is the lacrimal gland. Now we will bring the nerves one by one, but before that here we have to draw. So the maxilla, then the soft palate and hard palate over here, and here you will find the tongue, the anterior two-third and posterior one-third part of the tongue that you can see here. Then below to that we will see the presence of submandibular gland over here. So this is a submandibular gland, and just anterior to that another you'll find there is the sublingual gland. So this is your sublingual and submandibular gland. Now here you'll see this is your canal, the labyrinthine canal. So the nervous intermediates, when it will enter into the internal acoustic meatus, that course will be the labyrinthine course over there. So this is your frontal bone. Okay, now here we will see a ganglion. This ganglion is most important, that is the geniculate ganglion that related to the taste fibers. So taste fibers, they release over here. Now we will bring the branchiomotor fibers, the motor fiber generally, they comes towards the geniculate ganglion, then they descends down on the roof of the middle ear, then to the posterior wall of the middle ear, and here we will find a muscle. This muscle is known as the stapedius muscle. As already I have told you that this is actually derived from the second branchial arch and the nerve also. So here it gives a branch is known as the nerve to stapedius muscle, the first branch. So then this facial nerve, it will descend downward, but before that here you can see the muscle, another muscle, that is the posterior belly of the digastric muscle, and another muscle anterior to that you will find the stylohyoid muscle, because all these muscles, they are derived from the second branchial arch. So at this point also you will find the styloid process over here, and in between the styloid and the mastoid process you will find a foramen. This is known as a stylomastoid foramen. Now this motor branch that will descend downward, exit out of the intracranial course as extracranial course through the stylomastoid foramen, and will innervate to the posterior belly of the digastric, along with the stylo. It enters into inside the, what is that, your gland. That gland is a parotid gland that will be over here, and the parotid, inside the substance of the parotid gland, it divides into 5 branches as a temporal branch. It divides into 5 branches as a temporal branch, zygomatic branch, buccal branch, upper and lower buccal, and here the marginal mandibular and the cervical branch. As the facial nerve emerges from the stylomastoid foramen, it gives rise to the posterior auricular branch located immediately anterior to the mastoid process. It supplies motor function for the occipital part of occipitofrontalis, auricularis anterior, posterior, superior and inferior. So continuing the anteriorly, the facial nerve then gives of these branches that already we have discussed. So that gives branch to the posterior belly of the digastric, elevates the hyoid bone, nerve to stylohyoid muscle which elevates the hyoid bone. It then passes through the parotid gland. It doesn't innervate the parotid gland, that you have to remember. As it exits the parotid gland, it forms the parotid plexus and divides into 5 motor branches to supply the different facial expressions, muscles of the head and neck. Uh, Only the major muscles that we will see here, that the temporal branch gives to the frontalis, orbicularis oculi, zygomatic, orbicularis oculi, buccal branch, buccinator, risorius, nasalis, orbicularis oris and zygomaticus muscle, the marginal mandibular branch to the mentalis muscle, and the cervical branch that gives innervation to the platysma that recognized as a supplying the posterior belly of the digastric and the stylohyoid muscles. Now we will bring the lacrimatory part. So this lacrimatory part that also comes with the motor branch, and through the genicular branch the first branch after the geniculate ganglion that courses anteromedially in the temporal bone to open into the middle cranial fossa. It then travels over the foramen lacerum to join with the deep petrosal nerve, forming the nerve to the pterygoid canal, or is known as also Vidian nerve, which passes through the pterygoid canal to enter to the pterygopalatine fossa and the ganglion. That branches then exit the nerve to supply the lacrimal gland and mucosal glands of the mouth, nose and pharynx. And from this internal carotid artery, you will find there is the presence of the sympathetic plexus that gives over here is a deep petrosal nerve, and here you will find the pterygopalatine fossa and the ganglion. Now the two branches, that is the greater petrosal nerve and the deep petrosal nerve, will enter into this pterygopalatine ganglion. Now here you can see in this green is actually the maxillary branch. So we will make another color as a blue. Now you can see this is the maxillary nerve, the branch of trigeminal nerve, V2 branch, along with the ganglion is the pterygopalatine ganglion. Now the parasympathetic fiber from the lacrimatory branch that will go through this pterygoid canal and enter into this pterygopalatine fossa and will synapse over here at the pterygopalatine ganglion. Then the postganglionic fiber will supply to the lacrimatory gland. So along with that you will find the deep petrosal nerve supplying the sympathetic pathway will also will run through this branch and will innervate to the lacrimal gland through the lacrimatory nerve. So here you can see this is the pterygoid canal. So this portion of the pterygoid canal, the nerve known as the Vidian nerve or nerve to pterygoid canal. Now we will bring another fiber that is actually arising out from the. Okay, so here a good students can know about the branches to the nasal, paranasal and the palatine glands that is also innervated by the lacrimatory branch over here. Uh, then here we will see the superior salivatory. It makes a internal genu, then descends downward at the posterior wall of the middle ear. Then it enters into the facial canaliculi and it is related to the lateral wall. Here you can see the tympanic membrane, the lateral wall, and you will find the tympanic membrane, and here this nerve that actually enter into the facial canaliculi and closely related to the tympanic membrane and will exit out through the fissure and as a coda tympani, so that travels across the bones of the middle ear and leave the skull at the petrotympanic fissure. It then enters the infratemporal fossa and runs with the lingual nerve that you can see here, and it travels with the lingual nerve until reaching the anterior two-third part of the tongue, and here this branch specially it will relay at the submandibular ganglion. Then the postganglionic fibers will supply to the submandibular and sublingual gland along with the sympathetic fibers coming through the facial artery. Now we'll see the coda tympani branch, the taste sensations. They will come through the anterior two-third part of the tongue as a coda tympani along with the lingual nerve. Then it will enter these fibers towards the geniculate ganglion. At the geniculate ganglion it will relay. Remember, no other fibers they will relay over the geniculate ganglion. Only the coda tympani carrying the taste sensation will only innervate to the geniculate ganglion. Then it will connect to the tractus solitarius. Now here the spinal nerve nucleus that coming down and exit through the stylomastoid foramen and will innervate to the external acoustic meatus, part of the external acoustic meatus for the touch pain and temperature. So friends, here we have completed the facial nerve, and in next video we will see the clinical correlations of the facial nerve along with the what is facial palsy and what is Bell's palsy and what is upper motor neuron, lower motor neuron, that we will discuss in next video. So thanks for watching.